I'm dressed like this at SimRaceway's Performance Driving Center, Sears Point, for a reason. We're here to drive the Lola Formula 3 car. 300 horsepower, 1,030 pounds. Back to my old Atlantic days in terms of speed and pace and G-load in corners. But it's not about me driving race cars. What we're going to do today is share with you the insights and the information you need to drive a race car technology and race tire versus driving a road car and street tires. There is a difference. We all love cars, we all love going fast, but how you get that speed really does matter with the tools you use. And today, it's a Lola Formula 3 car. Before I got into the real F3 Lola, I got into the exact same Sim F3 Lola to make sure that what we were learning was projecting to the real car. The last time I drove Formula Atlantic F3 fast was 1997, but the last time I raced Sears Point was all the way back to 91 or 92. And the track was different then from what it is now. Some knowledge carries over, but there's a lot of learning to do and a new car to figure out fast. Okay, this is not the way I want to bring the race car back from my test. But we're here in the race shop, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to take a look at this Lola Formula 3 car as it's a part, to walk through the technology and tell you why I'm also a little nervous about this test, because this is a proper, true race car. When Lola decided to compete against Lola in the Formula 3 category, they knew they had to build a real race car. It starts with a carbon tub, just like the Atlantic car I used to drive, not like the Formula 2000 cars, which are tube frame. What they learned, however, is Lola stiff competition, so they designed a slightly bigger tub to be used in school situations like this, but it doesn't make it any less of a race car. Carbon tub, race car suspension. The Mitsubishi EVO 1.99 liter motor. In school trim, it's 220 horsepower. They've got this dialed up to race trim, 300 horsepower, 370 brake feet of torque. And again, a car about 1,030 pounds. So this actually has more power than the Atlantic cars we used to drive, which are at 250, 260 horsepower. It is not a stressed member. You can see the tube chassis here to kind of connect the dots to the Hewland 5-speed gearbox. While these brakes are not carbon, these steel rotors and race pads are pretty prodigious and get the job done in this car. And frankly, give us a little bit of an advantage because they come up to temperature quick, they hold the braking better than a carbon. You don't really need to ride them and keep them going. There is no tunnel like an Atlantic car, not a full tunnel. You can see the flat tray here leading to the back, but pretty prodigious diffuser. About 2,200 pounds of downforce. Again, on a 1,000-pound car, will we really be getting over 2 Gs? I'm pretty sure. One of the other differences that you don't see here, but you'll see when we drive the car, are the tires. The Atlantic tires were huge. It's a big part of this car. I forgot to tell you about it. This EVO engine is turbocharged. School trim, 220 horsepower. Racing at our test today, 300. How do they do it? Air restrictors. There's the school. There's the good green 300 horsepower. I haven't driven a car this serious since 1997. I'm not in the same shape.
What are you most worried about? Is it your fatigue or
no, not fatigue, just the rhythm. Mm-hmm. Just that whole coordination of being one with the car, and thank God the mic's not on. But that feeling, mm-hmm. as opposed to just it's so fucking awkward and mechanical. And the comfort level will come in the brake zone. And if it's not there, then it'll affect how hard I push. And on the other side, if I do feel comfortable, what I don't want to do is get lulled into it and start going because I'm rusty. I'm rusty enough that I want to respect that. Even sitting here outside the garage getting ready to go, I'm focused on how am I going to feel these tires? How are they going to come in? Expecting 1 or 2 laps for it to build temperature. They're a good tire, but a hard compound. They're a smaller tire than the Atlantic car, and I wonder if we're going to end up going all Schumacher here, where the technology is way ahead of the capability of the tire. So that's one thing. Number 2, I got to get comfortable with the brakes. As a downforce car, as we've always spoken, there's a lot of brake force up front, but frankly, I don't know the limits to this. This is a formula car, therefore all the steering inputs are going to be very, very immediate. I've got to change my thinking from road car mentality of how to think where the car wants to go and then steer and then wait, to the immediacy that I probably expect will happen. The clutch was easier to push forward than people were trying to explain to me. It is a racing clutch, but it's easily progressive. Pit lane. There's not a lot of steering angle in a race car, and this one was one where I want to make sure we weren't going to hit the wall. Off onto the track. This will be a very deliberate lap. What I'm doing now is getting my eyes focused on my reference points. Here's the curb, these last 2 cones. That's where I want to be to turn the car in for this uphill turn 2. It's blind, but now I want to make sure that I'm in a good place, track left. Coming down into this dip, there's an imaginary, there we go, right to the right side of the track, back of the berm, the end of the berm to get ready for the blind 3 and 4, and you literally project your imagination over the crest to be right there. 3rd gear corner when we get up to speed, turn across, there's a little bit of a reference road, and now we're going toward the carousel. The carousel is going to be where this car is going to show all of its G's and capability in terms of cornering. Cresting the car, turn it in. I'm a little wide to start, but I'm just being kind of conservative to see what the car will do. Do I feel anything in the tires? Quite frankly, no, but they're not up to temperature by any stretch of the imagination. One of the things you do in a warm-up lap is not get lured into the sensations of the race car, because you're going at a low speed and the car is very, very rough. The setup is set for the 1,500 pounds of downforce that this race car will generate. The tires have no temperature, so they're kind of skating on top of the track right now. Early in the session, I had to come in, and I'll tell you why. Part of the reality of plug and play in cars like this is you don't have a custom fit seat. We did a little insert, we did a little foam, and frankly, I was flopping around. The Lola chassis was built for larger individuals because it really was an F3 modified to be used as a school track experience car. I gotta tell you, I was moving around that thing so much I had room for having a little party on my own. So I needed to get the belts tightened, maybe have some more foam put in there, but something needed to be fixed because if we were gonna pick up the G's, I was gonna be lost. Good. I'm just rolling around in here.
Okay.
Can you either buttress me in or pull me down tighter?
Actually, the lap ones, if you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lap ones will be the best help.
It's really my shoulders.
Our seat insert is still moving, so the seat insert itself will move a little bit.
Okay.
So you kind of need to brace yourself a touch as you
Okay.
go, but we can help as much as we can.
It's really up on my shoulders, believe it or not.
Yeah, I believe you. So hopefully that will do.
Thoughts so far, Blue?
Feels good though, right?
Oh yeah. I can't get it into neutral.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's with the pole cable.
Oh, I'm
pull
sorry.
the cable
Yep, that's fine.
and one extra downshift. There
Yeah.
you go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we're good to go. Having made the fix, it's time to get serious. There's a little temperature in the tires. Figure about 1 lap and then we'll be able to really start to push. But I can start to lean on it, and that's the thing you need to have happen. You need to start leaning on the brakes. You need to start leaning on the tires to start to feel the ability, the capability of this car. This is a trail brake corner, and this is the one place where you start to feel like, are the brakes coming in, are the tires coming in for what you need to do. I'm still not using full revs, but you can see we're getting more to it. This is a 4th gear carryover into the crest, and now a little more diamond shape here, feeling the G's. We're going to get 2 G's when we're done here. And now I'm reminding myself, why did I ever get out of a race car? There's nothing like this sensation. No offense to the visuals, no offense to what Drive does for a living. You cannot experience this unless you actually do it, and I actually encourage everyone to try it. Okay, it's time to stop screwing around and figure out if we can really do this. Here we come out of the last corner onto the straightaway. Aim for that white, get the car straight, go full throttle. This is going to be 5th gear by the time we cross start finish. Turn, but not too early. Get ourselves track wide, around the bump. Hit it a little bit. Line ourselves up for the curb, 2nd gear. 3rd gear, I apologize, 3rd gear. Over the crest, back on the gas. And now we're aiming toward a little nuance. There it is, right side, fast in, and I'm giving up way too much speed there. But blind over the top, full throttle down here. This is going to be a heavy trail brake, 3rd gear corner, turn in just right. There it is, and full throttle, and now we're heading toward the carousel. Oh, a little bit of a correction. Gas, gas, gas. Be careful, do not track out. I want to be center of the track, no more. And now we're going to turn the car in a little more, diamond this off. We'll kind of drift a little bit, wash out, back onto the throttle, get the burn. I missed it a little bit, but full throttle was what is really important there. 5th gear down to this hairpin, and now I feel like I want to cheat in earlier, but I can't, and I shouldn't. Turn in, double apex, hit the bump. Wait, back of the berm, full throttle. More important here to be on the gas than exactly where we're positioned, but you want to make a flow happening through here. There you go, turn in a little early, but it's okay, there's enough room. This is flat down to the Indy hairpin. 5th gear, 100 marker. Brakes, 2nd gear, back of the berm. Oh, popped it. Just to get through here. Oh my God, am I going to slide off? We did. Full throttle, coming to the last corner, the last hairpin. If I can get this clean, do a little trail brake, we'll have a good lap. Okay, we got this lap. The confidence is building. Start-finish is going to be a start of another lap. Hey, let's pretend it's the old days in qualifying, so let's get this right. More aggressive on gas. Not late braking, more aggressive on gas. Got to get to the gas earlier. Up the hill is perfect. Here we go. Okay, just go to the throttle, and I forgot about that turbo kicking in. Damn. The race car technology, a formula car race car is one thing, but the real thing we're working on here and learning is how to drive a race slick, and it is completely different than a road street tire. It starts with slip angles. A street tire gives you much more range and room to work the tire and the wheel. A lot of steering involved. With a race tire, it's much more precise, much more minute in terms of that input and corrections. Yes, the grip angles are higher, street tires are getting there, but it's all about that sensation and the immediacy of it. You also feel the buildup of temperatures and when the tire comes in. And that's something that, quite frankly, I want to make sure that I've still remembered how to do and where that limit is. This car is a very, very, very good race car to learn racecraft, but it's also an interesting car because it has more racing technology than the tire has capability of supporting. So quite frankly, I'm suddenly sounding like Michael Schumacher saying, give me more tire. And my Atlantic days had more tire than this thing. So I'm driving to the limits of the tire and not the car. And the race tire gives me a narrow range of when it's too much slip and just right. On a street tire, you can exceed the limit of the tire and come back and save the car. On a race tire, you cannot. You've got to understand how far to the limit you go, where that progression is, and where that progression stops. Because beyond is a crash. This show's about more than showing you the fun I was having getting in a real race car again, this Lola F3, thanks to SimRaceway. The experience was all about expressing the dynamics and the differences between driving a race car versus a road car. And simply stated, it's all about precision and that immediacy of response and reaction to your inputs. An Audi R8 is just as fast as this Lola, but it takes 20 seconds more time to get around Sears Point. Where are the differences? In the compression of brake zone, in the immediacy of its steering and cornering. That's the difference. That's why this car is my drug and so addictive. And now, just got to go find a real race ride and get into more racing.